In today's video, I'm going to show you how to be resourceful and the top things I learned about being resourceful in going from 0 to over 8 figures in sales from my business. Let's go! Also, if you like videos like this and you want to learn more about growing your business, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I release new videos every single week. Hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, my name is Dan Henry and I'm the founder of 𝐃𝐚𝐧 and the author of Digital Millionaire Secrets. And today I am going to be showing you how to be resourceful. By the way, if you have a tip of how to be resourceful yourself or an example of how you were resourceful, leave it below in the comments. And if it's a great tip, I might even give you something special. All right, so leave your tip below. All right, so how bad does it suck when you have a goal, you want to get it done, but you just feel like you don't have the resources, you don't have the tools? Well, if you feel like that, if you're like, oh, Dan, I know, I just wake up every morning and I just don't have the tools to get it done, well, then you're on the right video, my friend. All right, so let's just jump right into the tips. Remember, these are core tips, core principles that I've learned in building my 8-figure company. So do not take them with a grain of salt because I refined these tips over years and years of doing them and thinking about them and implementing them into every business that I have ever done. Let's get going. All right, the first one is use what you have to get what you need. Now, almost better way to say this would be instead of looking for resources, be resourceful. Give you an example. Years ago, I moved to Chicago for 3 years. And before that, I wanted to go up there and I wanted to sort of like get my bearings and make sure that I wanted to live there. And so I took a trip up and I got a hotel. And my idea was to just hang out for a couple weeks and see if I wanted to live there. Well, when I was up there, I noticed that there was a lot of homeless people on the street. And where I'm from, a small town in Florida, if you see a homeless person, you give them money or you give them food because you just want to help. And there's not many homeless people where I'm from, so it doesn't take much to hand somebody some food, some leftover food, or some money, because there's so few homeless people where I'm from. But in Chicago and places like New York and Los Angeles, there are tons of homeless people. And so when you're walking around, it really sucks because if you're the type of person that wants to help somebody, but then you see 30 people and then you walk a block and you see 30 more people that are homeless, you realize you can't help everybody. And if you tried, you'd be out there all day, every day, handing out money and handing out food. And then, well, you'd be broke too. But the thing is that as I walked out of Union Station in downtown Chicago, I ran across this man who could tell that I looked a little lost. And he comes up to me and he says, hey man, he says, listen, I have a deal for you. And by the way, this was a homeless man. And he comes up and he says, hey, I have a deal for you. I will show you around this area. It looks like you're kind of lost. And I said, yeah, I told him the story. I'm moving down here and I want to like get my bearings. He says, well, where's your hotel? I said, my hotel's over there. He says, okay, I will show you every good restaurant. I will show you how to get on the subway. I'll show you like all the different things you need to know about being right here and where you need to go, where you need to avoid, everything. All I ask is $20. And I was like, $20 for that? That is an amazing deal because that could save me so much time, so much aggravation. It could potentially even save me from getting mugged. So I was like, you know what, deal. I handed him $20 and over the next hour, he showed me everything I needed to know. This was a man who was homeless, who instead of looking for resources, instead of looking for food and looking for money, he went out and earned it. He used what he had to get what he wanted. So for instance, he knew all the restaurants because he's there all day, every day. He knew all the streets because he's there all day, every day. He knew the subway system because he's there all day, every day. He has knowledge that most people don't have because most people go home, they go to work, they don't know every restaurant, they don't know every street corner. He knows what areas are dangerous, what areas are safe. He knows this because he's there all the time because he lives there. He lives on the streets. And so he showed me a valuable thing. He used what he had, his knowledge, to get what he needed. All right. And so not only did I give him $20, I gave him a tip and I bought him lunch because he was just that amazing. So that's an example of somebody who used what they have, in his case, knowledge, to get what he needed, in that case, food and money. All right, hope you like that tip. All right, if you like that tip, smash the like button because my like button needs love. It needs love. And for some weird way, it likes to be smashed to get that love. Okay, moving on. The next one is don't get distracted with side projects. Think about this. If you have a goal and you have yet to achieve that goal, then why do you have another goal, right? Especially if it's a completely separate goal. For instance, I know so many people that try to build a business, and let me tell you something, building a successful business takes a lot of focus, it takes a lot of work. Well, if you have a business that's not yet successful, then why on earth are you trying to start another one? If you can't make one successful, what business do you have trying to start a whole nother one before this one's even successful, right? Think about that. That's a huge thing that people make a mistake on. Now think about this. You're gonna need resources to build business A. You're also going to need resources, in many cases, different resources to build business B. So now you have doubled the amount of resources you need to get to accomplish any goal, and that bogs you down. So if you limit your goals to one thing, the one prioritized goal that you can prioritize and execute, and you can look at that one thing and say, I'm going to achieve this goal, I'm going to focus on this goal, and everything is going to be about this goal. Not only will the chances of you achieving that goal be dramatically increased, but you'll limit the amount of resources that you need because you only need what you need to achieve that one goal, and therefore you need less resources. It's easier to get them. Okay, boom! Next, another one about limiting resources, and that is limit resources needed by focusing on the end result. This video right here is a perfect example. Right now, we are in the middle of this coronavirus lockdown, right? Pretty much the whole country is at home, and I'm at home, my staff is at home, we're not using our office. At our office, if I were to record a video, I would record it on really high-end cameras. We would immediately hand the card to my video guy who is 10 feet away. He would edit the video right there, and it would look super awesome, 4K, this, that, and the other thing would look great. But the end result is not to have a 4K video that looks amazing on YouTube. The end result is to teach you guys something on my YouTube channel and grow my YouTube channel. That's the real end result. So right now, I'm at home with a camera above my computer with this mic fed into Open Broadcast software, which is a free screen recording software, but I can feed this microphone and my video into this. It's not the best quality. It's pretty good quality because I've been doing this a while and I kind of have a little makeshift lighting set up and it looks decent, but it doesn't look as good as my normal videos. But it doesn't matter because it's good enough to teach you guys and share with you guys. And so instead of me trying to have some crazy thing set up where I have to mail my video files to my video guy and all this crazy stuff, I'm just going to record them with this. It gives me a lower file size. I can easily send that file to my video guy over the internet. And by the way, we use Slack. I can send it to him over Slack. He can edit it and get it up on YouTube without us having to meet, without us having to do a bunch of different stuff. So I'm limiting the resources I need, and I'm keeping it simple by focusing on the end result, because we don't have those resources right now. We don't have the ability to easily transfer large files that are recorded in 4K and hand them up because we're all at home, we're all stuck right now. But I need to keep growing my YouTube channel. I need to keep putting out content. And so I'm going to focus on the end result. What is the minimum amount of resources needed to get the end result? And I'm going to implement that and make it happen. All right. So you definitely need to think about, like, what is the end result? Do I need a bunch of project planning software that costs all this money? Or should I just finish the project and do it all at once and not worry about planning? Like, that's another thing. In my company, we used to plan out emails, right? We used to like have a Trello board and we'd have email ideas and we'd have all this stuff. And I stopped doing that because it was really it was more planning than the end result. And so now, instead of doing that, when we have an idea for an email, it goes right into our email software, it gets written right there, and it's done. Right? It was actually more work to plan content than to actually publish content. And so when we have an idea right now, we just do it. And things get done so much faster. So think of the end result and limit the resources you need to make the end result happen. Don't have fluff in your process. Don't have friction. Just the minimal amount to get the job done. Okay, next. This one's great. Ask for help by trading and giving away resources. Think about this. You have skills. Other people have skills. What if you need something they have and they have something you need? So I'll give you an example. I am really, really, really good at Facebook ads. That has been how I've made the majority of the $12 million I've made from selling my own online courses and digital products, and from Facebook ads. Now, months and months and months ago, well, actually well over a year ago, I have a friend, his name's Alex, and he's another 8-figure entrepreneur. And he's really good at YouTube ads. In fact, he sells YouTube ad courses. He's really, really good at it. And I get on a call with Alex, and Alex says, hey, you're really good at Facebook ads. I'm really good at YouTube ads. Why don't, instead of us buying each other's stuff or researching for hours and hours, why don't I just help you with YouTube ads and you help me with Facebook ads? And I said, okay. So I get on a call and we share, and next thing you know, he's using my Facebook ad tactics and he's doing well, and I'm able to go from zero to spending over $100,000 a month on YouTube ads by using some of his tactics. And so we were able to trade our knowledge, trade our resources. Now you might think, all right, Dan, that's great, but you guys are both 8-figure entrepreneurs. That's easy. Well, there's no difference between that and what I did in the beginning. For instance, I had way in the beginning, I had a lady who was an accountant. Now, I couldn't afford an accountant. This was so many years ago, but I had a small bar at the time. And I was running this bar in this small town, and it was doing good, but I didn't really have enough money for this big accountant or this big accounting firm or anything like that. And so, and it's funny is, and this is terrible, but it worked, is I had a lady who was a former accountant, okay? And this was all I could afford, so don't judge me. This was all I could afford. I had a lady who was a former accountant. She worked for like H&R Block or something like that. And she would come in and she would spend a lot of money at the bar. And I would get to talk to her, and I noticed she was an accountant. And I said, hey, let me ask you something. How much would you charge for me to, have you do my books? Like, how much would you charge for that and to file our taxes, this, that, and the other thing, and clean up our books? And she was like, well, I could charge you this, but honestly, if you just give me a bar tab, I'll do it for you. And so you got to think, if I were to sell her a $5 drink, that only cost me maybe $1 or less. And so I have resources. I have liquor. I have the ability to give her what she wanted, and she had the ability to give me what we wanted. So we bartered and we exchanged. And she wasn't the best accountant. In fact, I later got audited, but it was certainly better than no accountant because I wasn't doing it. I had no idea how to do it. I had no idea how to do books. But in that process, I actually learned a lot about accounting, at least a lot of basic stuff anyway, way more than I did. And all I had to do was give her a bar tab. And all she had to do was something that she knew how to do, and she got what she wanted. And there's been multiple times where I've done this. I've had people that were good at graphics, and so I traded, I looked at their copy for them, or just multiple times where somebody else had a skill that I needed. And the one way that you can start to really make this happen is start giving away your knowledge for free. Start networking, making friends, and start seeing what they need that you can help with. And then help them. Don't ask for anything. Help them. And trust me, when it comes time for you to need help, you can start reaching out to that same network of people that you already paid it forward with, and you'll see how many people will reach out to you and say, yeah, sure, I'll just hop on a call. Yeah, sure. I remember so many times there were people that would normally charge thousands of dollars to get on a call, but because I reached out weeks before that and I said, hey, I'll help you with this, no problem, they reached out and said, hey, Dan, I noticed you're having trouble with this. Let me help you. And so if you pay it forward and you use the knowledge you have and you trade and you give away those resources to people that also have resources you might need, you will end up getting help from them that you otherwise may have paid thousands for. And this is how I've networked, and this is how masterminds, right? In fact, masterminds are built on this very idea. You'll pay $30,000 to get in this high-level entrepreneur mastermind, but then you'll get help from the people in that mastermind worth far more than $30,000, and you build lifelong relationships where you'll help each other, all for a ticket price of 30 grand. And I know that might seem like a lot, but I can tell you I've been in masterminds before where I have met people that helped me solve just one problem that was worth far more than $30,000 to me. In fact, I one time was able to almost double our sales for one particular product because I had a conversation with somebody that was used to selling that exact type of product in that exact type of method for a long time. They were selling it for years, and they just told me one thing and it doubled our sales, and it was way more valuable to me than $30,000. So as you can see, trading your resources, trading your knowledge, even bartering is a really great way to be resourceful. All right, so my next tip is hire resourceful people. So for instance, I recently hired a girl who is extremely resourceful. She can do graphics, she can write copy, she can edit video, she can edit audio, she knows how to use content management systems. And previous to that, I had really focused on like having each person do their own thing. And like, all right, here, edit this video, then send it to the guy that can write copy, then send it to this guy who can upload it to the blog, and then blah, 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 blah. And it was so much back and forth that it was just an immense amount of time, hours, maybe even days to get something done that one person could have done in 20 minutes because they know how to do the entire process. And so this woman is extremely resourceful. I can give her a video or I can give her an audio file, like say for a podcast episode or something. And from me recording it all the way to it getting uploaded, an email sent out, an Instagram clip sent, just like all the things needed, she knows how to do, right? And when you have somebody that knows how to do all the different things that need to happen from point A to point B, from the beginning to the end, that, in my opinion, is a resourceful person. As well, I have employees that are extremely resourceful in the way that if I ask them to do something and they know how to do this, and that, but there's one part here where they don't know how to do it, they'll go out and Google it. They won't even ask me. They'll go out and Google it. They'll figure it out. That is a resourceful person. And so if you hire resourceful people, you will need less resources because those people will be resourceful and they will get the job done without bothering you and without asking you for things that they don't need, that if they were just resourceful, they could figure out on their own. And that's why it's so important to hire resourceful people. As you grow, make sure that the people you hire are resourceful. Okay, next, and the final one, and this is probably the most important one. Pay people that know rather than pay for things you think you need. Pay people that know rather than pay for things you think you need. So let me give you an example. Multiple times have I thought that in order for me to accomplish a goal in my business, I needed this, and that to get that goal. But then when I hired somebody and I paid for their consulting, I found out that half or more of that stuff was completely unnecessary. And by me paying to understand that process, by me paying to know that, I eliminated more resources that cost more money than what I paid for the consulting. And then the next month and the month after that, I reap the benefits of that saved money because that lasts forever, right? I cannot tell you how much of an advocate I am for paying people for their knowledge because it's the fastest way. It's almost like cheating, right? It's the fastest way to get to where you want to be. You would not buy a plane but not take flying lessons. For example, I'll give you one example from my personal life. I had an idea once I started making money with my company. I had an idea, I'm going to take this cash, I'm going to start buying real estate. Now, I got an idea for all these things that I thought I needed. I was going to create yellow letters, and I was going to just, have a website for my investment company and all this stuff that I thought I needed. Well, I reached out and I spoke to somebody who is not only a real estate agent, but an active real estate investor. And I paid her for her knowledge. And I said, walk me through this. And when she walked me through it, what I found was I didn't need any of that stuff. That there was a simpler, shorter, and less resource intensive way to do what I wanted to do in real estate. And if I had never reached out and paid for that, I would have spent so much time and so much energy looking for resources that I didn't need. So part of being resourceful is understanding what resources you actually need to make it happen. And if you have to pay for that knowledge, or if you have to spend time to get that knowledge, or even if you just buy books, right? Like I cannot count the amount of people who get into real estate without reading any books about real estate. I can't count the amount of people who get into stock trading without reading any books about stock trading, or people who try to get into online business without reading any books about online business. That's insane. My book, Digital Millionaire Secrets, is under a 2-hour read. It's extremely easy to read. I made the paragraphs super short and super easy to read. You can read this book in under 2 hours. There's no reason, if you want to create an online education business, an online course coaching, there's no reason not to read this book or one of many other books, right? You just sit down and you read it. It costs, a few bucks and a couple hours in time. There's no reason to not read a book about a subject before diving into that subject, because you will find that many of the things you need to do, you don't need to do. And there's a simpler and easier and faster way. And so you'll notice a summary here. And let me go ahead and summarize this video. You'll notice that all in all, a big portion of the tips I gave you today are eliminating things, being minimalist, and finding out what you really need before looking for the resources. All right, because so much time is wasted looking for resources that we don't need. I cannot count so many instances in life, so many clients I've worked with, so many people that spend so much time looking for things they don't need. And that is a huge part of being resourceful, is to eliminate things that just don't have any reason to be there. So this video is sponsored by my new book, Digital Millionaire Secrets: How I Built an 8-Figure Business Selling My Knowledge Online. If you enjoyed the tips in this video, you're going to absolutely love this book, especially if you are a coach, consultant, course creator, mastermind holder, event holder, any type of business where you sell your expertise or knowledge. You absolutely need this book because it's going to help you grow that business. So I'll leave a link in the description where you can get this book, and not only can you get it free. I will actually pay for the cost of the printed book. All that I ask is that you pay the postman. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get this book for free. Don't say I never gave you anything. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want more of these videos, make sure you subscribe, because that's the only way you're going to know if there's more videos. Otherwise, I'm not going to have a pigeon deliver the video to you. I'm not going to send it via snail mail. Just subscribe and you'll see it right in your feed. Also, if you're interested in learning how to sell online courses, my next video is going to be all about that, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Also, if you're looking to watch a video right now, you can check out my video, Why Online Courses Fail. I'll leave a link somewhere in this video. See you guys soon.